The illegal trade in cigarettes has exploded in the past year. Criminals flood South Africa's retail market with illicit tobacco, according to a new study by independent market researchers Ipsos. Government's lifting of the cigarette sales ban about a year and a half ago has done little to curb the increase in illegal trade. Now, what are the contributing factors to this rampant growth? To help us answer some of those questions, we're joined by the General Manager of British American Tobacco, Johnny Moloto, who joins us virtually from Pretoria. Johnny, thanks so much for your time this evening. I thought just to clear the decks, as it were, and to start this, lay the foundation for this conversation, can you just explain to us what exactly is considered illicit tobacco? Because some might be mistaken for thinking we're just talking about fake tobacco or tobacco that comes from a place that hasn't been vetted or regulated. But it's about much more than that, isn't it?
It is. It does include, although to a limited extent, fake products, though those are not really that prevalent. Largely, it's around pricing. Government charges an excise tax on cigarettes and other excisable goods, which are consumer products that government seeks to discourage consumption thereof. So excise we normally collect as the product leaves the factory. We collect this on behalf of government, and then the excise is passed on to the consumer. And so by the time it hits the shelf, it should include excise taxes, which currently sits together with VAT of 15% for a 20-pack of cigarettes. It comes to a total of 22.79. So anything that sells below that, considering the fact that you still need to factor in your production costs, your marketing costs, your distribution costs, means that at least at a minimum, you should be selling around 28 Rand to be able to at least be sustainable. So that would be considered illicit. But yet we see products that sell as little in the latest study, as little as 7 Rand.
Wow. Now, speak to me about the study, because it does seem like a lifetime ago. We spoke to you or your colleagues repeatedly during that very difficult part of lockdown, when you were trying to get the ban on tobacco products being sold lifted, because that indeed saw a big spike in the sale of illicit products. So what you're telling us now, based on this research, is that that ban being lifted, and quite a few months on, actually more than a few months on, the surge in the popularity of these illicit products hasn't been stemmed by the lifting of that ban. What has the research shown you?
Yes, so what the research shows is that just before we entered the sales ban, already we were starting to see some green shoots that, there was a slight decrease in illicit trade. And, we were quite hopeful that the authorities were starting to do something towards, reducing the illicit trade incidents. Come the sales ban, that there was a upshoot in terms of products that, flooded the market from the very same illicit players we see today. At that stage, if you recall, they were selling at record prices. But as soon as the ban was lifted, because they had already established a market for themselves and entrenched themselves through new distribution channels, they were able to drop prices significantly to pre-lockdown levels. Hence, we're seeing the continued existence of this trade.
Now, according to that research, there were some quite shocking figures about the stores or the places, retail spaces where this product is available. It showed that 4 out of 5 stores in the Western Cape sell cigarettes below that minimal collectible tax MCT rate of 22.79 Rand per pack, as do almost 70% of outlets in Gauteng. Now, some might believe that, these are products that are being sold by a little hole-in-the-wall house shops and that kind of thing. But we're talking about major retail outlets that are selling these products. Is it illegal for them to be selling these products that are below the MCT rate?
They should know better, because, as I indicated, already it should come with that excise tag onto the product. And this is really a concerning trend for us, because what it shows is that this is becoming normalized. When previously it was considered largely a product or a problem in the informal space. Of course, it continues to be as such. However, the fact that it's starting to filter into branded forecourts and some of, well-known supermarkets, that is quite concerning, because once this behavior becomes normalized, it's going to be very difficult to remove. However, From our point of view, where you need to deal with the problem is at source, because once it filters into the market, that's a huge headache to deal with so many retail channels available. So if you deal with the problem at source, there are very few manufacturers that produce these products. And throughout the studies, this is the 5th wave of such studies that we've been conducting. And there are regular culprits that pop up throughout the studies.
Who are these regular culprits? And if you are indeed calling them culprits, how is there any way that you can point them out to the powers that be?
Well, it's not for us to point them out. The studies themselves, because we use, the Ipsos report uses a mystery shopper approach. The mystery shopper approach, they simply request for the cheapest brand available in an outlet, and based on that outlet, you are able, therefore, to track it back to the brand manufacturer or the brand owner. And the 2 major culprits that continuously pop up are your gold leaf tobacco, Zimbabwe and South Africa, as well as Cannelings. And these brands, throughout the 5 waves that we've conducted, keep on popping up. Surely there must be something there.
Now, some would say now that people have gotten used to buying 20 cigarettes for, I think you said in one report, 7 or 8 rand, it's going to be very difficult to convince them that actually it's illegal, or it's not just done, if it's not black and white, like you said, and they should actually be paying a retail sales price of 28 rand. How are you going to convince the consumers that it's the right thing to do to buy the pack that costs more than 20 rand as opposed to a pack of cigarettes that they can very officially buy at a respected retail store?
Yeah, part of these initiatives or these studies that we conduct on a regular basis is also an education campaign to say to the retailer, if something is too good to be true, chances are it is. And what you're doing, actually, you're exposing yourself actually to being part as well of the criminality, because you are now benefiting from the proceeds of crime. So these are not really good deals that you're getting. What you're getting is basically buying illegal goods. And at some point, you may get yourself into trouble with the authorities.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for that update. General Manager at British American Tobacco, Johnny Moloto.